guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make Cinnastix. This is a dessert that my family and I really enjoy making and eating. It is very good, so I really hope you guys enjoy this video. The ingredients will be in the description box below if you want to go check it out down there if you're uncertain of the measurements. So definitely go look in the description box if you are struggling. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the ingredients that you will need to make your Cinnastix is 1 pack of prepared dough. You can either use pizza dough, but I just used regular bread dough since it's nice and soft. Then you will need about a 1/4 cup of melted butter. You can either use margarine or butter, whichever you have. And lastly, you will need 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now for the ingredients for your icing / the dip, you will need 2 cups of Castor sugar. And then you will also be needing 1 tablespoon of milk, and then you will need 1 tablespoon of butter or margarine, whichever you have. And then lastly, you will be needing a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the Cinnastix. So start off by throwing flour over the surface that you're going to work on, and also the roller that you're going to be using so that the dough won't stick to it the whole time. It just makes the job much easier, and also throw a little bit of flour over top of the dough. Then you will have to start to roll out the dough evenly but not too flat. So as you can see I am doing here. You just go on and roll and make sure it doesn't have any air bubbles or things like that. You also want to make sure to flip and turn the dough a lot so you get more of a rectangular shape rather than a circle shape, since we're going to have to cut them up in little sticks. So just continue to roll out your dough and just flip it around the whole time until all the air bubbles are out and you've really worked through your piece of dough. Another big tip I can give you guys is, as you can see here, the surface is getting a little less full of flour, so you can just pick up that little piece right there, and then you can just scooch in that bit of flour, and just to make sure that it doesn't stick to your counter or your work surface wherever you are working at. And then just continue to roll out your dough until you are at your desired thickness that you want your Cinnastix to be. So this is kind of what you want your dough to look like after you've rolled it out, and after you've done that, just go ahead and spread it over with the melted butter that you have melted into the microwave or wherever you melted it on, and just make sure you get it all over the place. All the spots that are still dry, make sure to go and heat up more margarine if it wasn't enough, or butter, whichever you're using, and just make sure it is equally covered so that once we add the cinnamon and sugar, it won't fall off of the piece of dough, since the margarine / butter kind of helps it stay on. So just make sure you get any blind spots and coat that. And after you have done that, make sure to add your cinnamon and sugar that you have now mixed. Just add that all over the piece of dough and make sure you don't leave any spots open. And this is just gonna give it that cinnamony taste that we are actually looking for. So just make sure to cover all of the dough, and if you don't have enough cinnamon and sugar, just go ahead and just make some more, and then just go ahead and cover that as well. Okay, so once you've covered your whole piece of dough, you can start cutting it. As you can see here, I started off by cutting it with a sharp knife through the middle, and after I did that, I went ahead and cut it in equal strips, as you can see here. Just make sure you are using a sharp knife so that it cuts all the way through. This is very important. So just go ahead and start cutting it to your desired thickness that you want it to be. I want it to be like finger thickness. So I just went ahead and did that. It does take a while, but it is super worth it at the end. Once I finished cutting the piece of dough in strips, I started adding some little pieces of the sides into a pan, and then I just kept on cutting them into equal pieces so that they are a nice length to hold them and eat them. And after I did a few of the sides, it was at the length that I could just go right through the piece of dough and have them all having to be somewhat the same size. So you can just do this if it's just faster for you and you don't really care that they are kind of the same length. But I just did this into 4 little pieces, as you can see here, 4 sides. So I just continued to do that, and just make sure all your pieces of dough are loose and everything. And then you want to go and add some margarine to the other pans, because this is going to make more than just one little pan. So once you've done that, you can start adding your little pieces onto the pan, as you can see that I have done here. Just make sure to be careful so that the sugar does not fall off of the piece of dough, since it's still kind of loose on there. When I was done putting all these little pieces onto the pan, I could now go and start turning on the oven and putting them into the oven. The oven is at 180 degrees Celsius. As you can see, here is me popping them into the pan so they can start to bake for 15 minutes. While that was baking, we started making the icing / the dip. So you want to start off by adding your 2 cups of Castor sugar. So make sure these are at least 2 cups, otherwise it won't be enough dip for all the Cinnastix that we are going to be making. So as you can see here, just work carefully so that you don't make a mess like I did, but just go ahead and add your 2 cups of Castor sugar. Then you can go ahead and add your 1 tablespoon of milk. So just make sure you are careful, since I did kind of make a mess, but that's okay. And I actually added 2 tablespoons just to make it a little more liquidy and not so stiff. So you can add that if you want, it's not necessary. Then you can add your 1 tablespoon of margarine / butter and your 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which gives it that nice taste. And then you can just start mixing that into a bowl. And as you can see here, it does not have that icing liquidy texture. It's very stiff and just lumpy and all over the place. So what we actually did, just to give that more a liquidy icing texture, we actually just decided to add about half a cup of water. It can be warm water or cold water. As you can see, we just added that in here, and that just made the stirring process much easier and just gave it a better texture. So just make sure to keep on mixing it until it gets to the consistency that you actually want it to be. As you can see, I just kept on mixing until I got to this consistency that I wanted it to be. And then you can go ahead and pop that into microwave so the sugar does melt. So I put it in the microwave for about 1 minute, and that worked, and it made it into a nice icing. And once that was done, I decided to pop out the Cinnastix out of the oven, since they were ready. So just make sure to wear oven gloves so they don't burn your hands, as you can see here. And they looked so good, as you can see. And they were awesome. I love how they turned out, and they just looked very, very delicious, and they looked awesome. So then I just went ahead and put my Cinnastix in a bowl and poured my icing into a nice little bowl, and then I just dipped the Cinnastix. You twist it a little bit, get all the icing on there, and then you just take a bite of the heaven that is now in your mouth, and it was just very good. So I really hope you guys did find this recipe helpful, and I just really hope you guys do enjoy it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you make these, definitely let me know on my social medias, which will be in the description box below, or let me know in the comments down below if you made these and what do you think of them, if you think they're as delicious as I do. And I hope you guys just enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below what you think of these desserts, and definitely subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I will see you guys in my next video. Be weird and be private. Love you guys so much. Bye.